y'all, it's your girl Fabulous Faith and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to the first video of 2025. I've been getting so many compliments on my makeup recently, so I decided to do a nice in-depth makeup tutorial, easy for anybody to follow. So let's just dive right into it. First, you need a good primer. I always like using the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer. This one specifically is the one with niacinamide. It's $10 and it's really good for full coverage foundation look. I use about 2 pumps and spread it evenly across my face and let it sit for probably about 5 minutes before going in with my next steps. So one of my favorite brands is Danessa Myricks Beauty. I like going in with the Yummy Skin Blurring Balm Powder in shade Universal. It's basically a translucent shade, and since I have combination skin, it's great to absorb the sweat in my T-zone area where I know my makeup really separates the most. I make sure to really rub that into my skin, into my T-zone area and underneath my eyes, and let that sit with the Power Grip Primer before proceeding on with my next steps. Next, I go in and spot conceal with the Sephora Best Skin Ever Full Coverage Multi-Use Concealer in shade 33.5Y. This just really helps to cover up any dark acne marks that I might have on my face before going in with any foundation, and I let this sit for a few minutes before blending it out as well. While the concealer is setting, I like to go ahead and do my brows. We like to multitask, so I'm using the NYX Makeup Brow Glue Eyebrow Gel in the shade Clear. This just really helps to give me that laminated eyebrow look. It's only about $10 at Ulta or Target, so it's definitely affordable and easy for you to pick up and get that eyebrow look you want to achieve. I like to brush the gel in opposite directions on both eyebrows before brushing them up and creating the shape I want to leave it in. This just helps ensure that the glue is all throughout my eyebrows on each hair. Now I like to go in with the Sephora Collection Pro Concealer Brush number 71. I use this to lightly tap out the concealer I use on my dark marks. It has more of a tapered look to the brush and it's designed to mimic like your fingertips. This really helps to keep the concealer concentrated on the dark mark areas and not kind of spread it all over my face. I really just want to make sure I'm covering up the dark mark. Next, I'm going in with foundation. I'm using the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place in shade Cinnamon. Foundation is always your preference, whether you want a dewy, matte, satin finish. I like that this kind of gives me a mix of a natural finish, kind of more matte. I really like the way it wears and it lasts all day. For foundation, I always like to start off with little dots all across my face. My mom taught me that, and it's better to start off with a little bit of foundation instead of putting a whole glob on your face and kind of trying to spread it across your face. So start with little dots to really build the foundation up to the coverage that's your desire. As you can see, I like a mix of high-end and drugstore products, so I'm using the NYX Face Glue Setting Spray. I spray this into my foundation brush of choice, which is the Danessa Myricks 1.0 All Over Complexion Brush. It's really similar to the concealer brush I used earlier in the way that it is shaped. It has a tapered look to really hug the skin so you can stamp your foundation into your skin. I learned the technique to spray setting spray on your foundation brush or sponge, whatever you're going to use to blend out your foundation, by Jackie Aina. Shout out to her because this technique really works, and I noticed a difference in the wear of my foundation when doing this technique. Notice I'm stamping my skin and not swiping the brush across my face. Really stamping the foundation into my skin really kind of gives me that coverage that I'm looking for and not give me those streak marks that can occur when you use a brush. So really stamp it into your skin. You should be picking up the brush and setting it down every time you place it on your face like you do a stamp. Also, a reminder to be sure that you're blending your foundation into your chin and right around your neck, because you don't want a demarcation line of where your foundation on your face ends and where you have no foundation on your neck as well. So really ensure that you're blending it out really all the way down to your neck, but not too far down. Now that I've blended out my base layer foundation, this is where I go in and add more foundation to build more coverage just based off what my desire is for that day. Today I wanted a little bit more full coverage, so I went in with more dots of foundation on my face to kind of build that coverage up. Now we blush. For this stage of the makeup process, I typically like to use a liquid or a cream blush here just as a base layer of blush. I really been loving the Lawless cream blushes. This is in the shade Cherry Pie. I think they're so easy to use, beginner friendly, so easy to blend, and the shade and the pigment payoff is really good, so I definitely recommend using these. I'm still learning blush placement, but I like to do it right underneath my eye but not too close to my cheeks or my nose. I really want a snatched, lifted look, so definitely play around with your blush placement. I'm going in with the same setting spray from earlier to set this layer of foundation and blush and liquid products on my face. Now it's time for concealer. These are some new concealers I picked up from Ulta Beauty. Definitely shop these in my storefront. Link is in the description, but I decided to get the shade Light Tan and Medium Beige. These were relatively cheap. The LA Pro Girl concealers, they were probably about $6 a piece. I like to get a brighter shade so I can have a bright under eye right in the corner of my eyes, and then the darker shade on the outer parts of my under eyes. This kind of helps me get a nice kind of gradient ombre look for my under eye. Now there's so many concealers on the market and I'm still testing out a few, so definitely pick which concealers you think work best for you, whether you want a creamy concealer, a full coverage, a matte concealer, whatever your under eye needs are. Definitely find a concealer that fits that. As far as placement, I put the brighter concealer shade anywhere I want to brighten or lift my face, and then the darker shades right around those areas to really kind of tone it down just a tad bit. So for me, I like to put concealer right underneath my eyes, right on top of my lips, my chin area, and the center of my face really, and right in the middle of my forehead, just to kind of brighten the inner part of my face. Then I use setting spray to dampen my sponge. I like using sponges because it's easy to blend, but definitely feel free to use a sponge, a powder puff, or a brush. Now, depending on the look you're going for, you can let your concealer sit so it's a bit more full coverage, or you can blend it out more quickly so you can have a more natural finish and it's not too much concealer under your eyes. Either way, really ensure you're taking the time to really blend out your concealer. Blend, 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 blend. And you can never blend too much, because if you blend too much, you can just add more product, but blend it really, really well so you can get the desired coverage and look you're going for. There are some areas where I use my concealer brush where I want a more concentrated, brightening look, but typically I'm using a sponge. Now that my concealer is blended out to my desire, I'm ready for the next step. Now I'm going in with my final layer of foundation. This is just to really help marry all the products together and all the different shades and tones so I can have an even complexion before I go in and start setting with all of my powders. Makeup tip: be sure to blend out your concealer one final time to make sure there are no creases before going in with your powder. Next up for me is pressed powders. These have really elevated my makeup routine, especially for setting under my under eyes as well as my entire face, setting my liquid foundation. So definitely get you some pressed powders. I scooped these up from Ulta. They're in my storefront, so check them out. These are the Maybelline Fit Me pressed powders. These are relatively cheap, less than $15, I believe. I got shades 128 and 330. 128 is to really set directly underneath my under eyes for a bright under eye, and that's in the shade Warm Nude. And then I got shade 330 Toffee Caramel to really set that liquid foundation in place all over my face. Now, when it comes to setting your under eyes, you want to look up so you're not settling in your creases, and press the powder with the powder puff directly under your eyes and press it in really firmly, like a nice stamping motion like we did for our foundation. I like to do this right underneath my eyes and along the sides of my nose to kind of give me a reverse contrast, reverse contour kind of look. Then I like to go in with a loose setting powder. I've really been liking the Benefit Cosmetics Professional Matte Loose Setting Powder. It does have a little bit of color to it, so definitely find one that matches your skin tone, but I like to use this one to bake, so I put it right on top of the pressed powder. In other places, I place my concealer and I set my concealer in place with this setting powder. I use a powder puff for this as well because it's easy to pack the powder into the powder puff and then disperse it across my skin. I probably bake for about 5 minutes, and then I go in with the Real Technique facial powder brush. This one is only $7.99 at Ulta. I have this in my storefront as well, and I use this to dust off that excess powder that I let sit bake on my face, so I'm not having like those harsh powder lines. So I use this kind of like gently brush off that excess powder to reveal the look that I'm going for. Next up, I'm doing my simple eyeshadow hack. I use the Sephora Collection Micro Smooth Powder in shade Ebony in conjunction with the e.l.f. eyeshadow brush. I just use this to give it a more bronzy brown look. I haven't really delved into eyeshadow looks or techniques, so this is kind of all I do for now, and kind of pack it onto my eyelid just to give it a little pop of color. So leave me some comments in the comment section below on how I can elevate my eyeshadow look for my full glam or everyday makeup looks. Then I lock all of this in with the same setting spray I've been using. Now we're in the home stretch of this makeup look. I'm going in with the Merit Clean Lash Mascara. I've really been liking this one. It's easy to use. It gives me just enough length and volume to my lashes to kind of give me that pop of a dramatic eye, but not doing too much. And I really enjoy using Merit products, so I do about maybe 2 coats on the top and bottom lashes. Now this next step is optional, but I've really been enjoying these from Danessa Myricks. These are the low lighters. They're supposed to be a nice natural version of a highlighter, and I have the shade Unbothered, and it adds a nice soft touch of color and a little glow to your face, but not doing too much. I use my fingertips to apply this product right on top of my blush, and it gives me a nice subtle pink hue glow to match the red blush I had on earlier. Now I'm going in with the pressed powders I talked about earlier, except I'm going in with shade 330 Toffee Caramel, and I'm using this pressed powder to set my entire face. I'm going in with the Say Beauty Big Brush Multi-Use Blending and Buffing Brush. This is a nice dense brush, and I like using this one because it picks up the pressed powder really, really well and kind of packs it into the brush before I pack it onto my face to really set and lock in my liquid foundation. I apply it the same way I did the liquid foundation. I use a nice stamping motion to really press the powder into my skin to set and lock everything into place and really tone down the brighter powders that I used earlier and set everything and marry all the products that I have on my face together. Next, I'm going in with the Real Techniques Ultra Plush Blush Makeup Brush. I use this one to sweep across any excess powder that might have been left on my face to really ensure there's no powder just sitting on my face and that everything is swept out of the way and nice and smooth. I also use this brush to go back in with the blush that I was using earlier earlier just to kind of add some more pop of color to my face. I'm pretty sure this brush is for powder based products, but I don't really have any powder based blushes that match the vibe that I had going, so I just use this brush to kind of do those last touches for my blush look. Now we're almost done with this look. It's time for the lip combo products. I'm going to be using the same setting powder that I used earlier to really kind of just set my lips before I begin my lip combo look. So I really just dab a light thin layer all around my lips before I apply my lip liner and gloss or lipstick of choice. I use the same concealer brush that I used earlier to kind of just dust off that excess powder before going in with the lip liner. I'm using the Juvia's Place lip liner in shade Coffee Bean. This is the only one that I have, but I really like this shade, so definitely recommend it. I have it in my Ulta Beauty storefront as well. So I do a nice medium thinnish layer to line my lips before going in with my liquid lip product of choice. Before I go in with my liquid lip product, I really make sure I set this lip liner in place with the setting powder. This just helps the lip combo to last longer on my skin. After the lip liner has set and I've dusted away the excess powder, I'm going in with the NYX Liquid Lip IV Lip Gloss Stains. This is a new product that I've been trying out, and it has a really nice formula. It just goes on like a gloss, but it dies down and dries down like a stain, and it's really cute. I'm using the shade Blush Rush, and I've really been liking this combo. It's a nice pinky muted red color, but not too bright red if you're not into that, so definitely give these a try. Girl, we made it to the end, and it's time to lock in this entire makeup look. I'm using the Milani Make It Last Original. This is my first time using it, and I really like it. It gave me more of a natural look instead of like a matte look that I've typically been going for, and it melted all the products together. It came out so beautifully. I do a hefty layer because I was gonna have this makeup on for a while, and it just looks so nice, good, and natural with a nice subtle dewy natural finish. And voila, girl, this is the final look. You can't tell me this makeup look is not tea. I'm so glad that you watched this video. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions or any tips, but I think my updated makeup routine is a hit. Let me know in the comments if you tried any of these products or if you'll be taking this makeup routine step by step to recreate your own makeup look. I'm just so excited to see your looks. Be sure to tag me on social media at naturalistic.faith because I want to see how your looks come out. But that is it. I hope you enjoyed this updated makeup tutorial for 2025, and I hope to see you in the future videos because over here we're fabulous, flourishing, learning, and having fun. Bye.
Lord, help me fix my gaze upon the cross. If you're in me, nothing can be a loss. I put my face in the dust and declare you're holy. This is the race